It is my privilege to have David Petersen share his job search story. It's been a journey, and I get to share a part of it with him. So, David, it's all you. Thank you for coming and sharing today.
Thanks so much, Steve. And I'll try and keep my journey's part short. I don't know how much biography, but my background is in higher education. I worked at the University of Utah and helped them launch their online MBA program, and then went to graduate school. And after that, started working at Western Governors University, helping to do online education. And the worked there for 5 years, and so. I was just coming up on 5 years, and well, I was just past the 5 year mark, and I was going to meeting one day, and I logged in to hop on the Zoom onto the Teams meeting, and in Teams, I just saw every member of my team said, "I've been fired, I've been fired, I've been fired, I've been fired," and I was like, "Oh shoot!" Western Governors has been doing an RTO, and although they have a dispersed workforce, across the United States, about 7,000 employees. Everybody's being relocated to Salt Lake City, and so it's either move to Salt Lake or take severance by next August. But along with that, a lot of teams are just being eliminated, and so my team was one of those. I think it came from an outside consulting firm that was saying downsize, because not even my senior vice president knew that it was coming. They just handed him a list of names and say, fire these people by the end of the day. So it was a shock to me. I was working remotely, and my wife was in the room with me, and all of a sudden we just were jobless. And that was really a crazy experience. I think that it was a big stressor on that. And they gave us a couple of weeks of severance, 8 months or eight weeks of severance, which was great. And I thought, oh, no problem. Like my skill set, there's a lot of jobs in education. I'm gonna go to and this should be over in 8 weeks. And well, this is about 7 months later that I'm finally figuring stuff out, and have things. And so it's been a bit of a ride. I would say that my job search went in three distinct waves. I was trying like three rounds of like filling the pipeline of all of the applications, and then the interviews and the interview cycles and things like that. And that was probably one of the things I did wrong throughout the entire process was I kind of ended up batching things. And so I would submit, 50 applications or 100 applications, and then try and see what interviews I got. And then I'd run through those interviews, and I kind of focused on that. And that was kind of a time constraint thing. But in retrospect, if I had done it a little more evenly, where it's like set a goal of having a certain number of applications in a week, um, then it would have been, I think, a little bit easier. Um, One thing that has been helpful for me, and I wanted to pass it on because I think it might be a useful tool, is I used a system. There's a couple of similar type of things, but that you create a baselit resume, and then it uses AI to like customize the resume for every single position. And if it's okay, Steve, that's one of the things that I wanted to share. Is that okay with you?
Yes, I was hoping you would.
Okay. I'm going to do a quick um, dive in with this platform that I used, and I'll show you two options. Um, but this has really been an effective tool, I think, for me. There's several things like this. They're all pretty much the same. Um, they're not free, but I think that they definitely pay for themselves, when you land the job. It's a fast way to make. So this one is called Huntr, and this is the one that I've been using. Um, it has a Chrome extension so that when I go to LinkedIn, if I find a job that I like, I'll I'll just pretend like this is one. It has this little button down here, and if you press it, it adds it to your job board. And so it adds it like, oh yeah, I'm going to apply for this job. So if you go through any one of them, you just click it, and you can save it to your board. And inside of Huntr, it looks kind of like a Kanban chart where you can drag and drop things from these are the ones that I want to apply to. These are the ones I have applied to. here's the interviews. I've got an offer. Um, actually just got that. So that was cool. And then ones that I was rejected for. I haven't updated this. And so um, obviously I've been rejected for quite a few jobs. This doesn't have all of them. I've deleted quite a bit, but when I find a job that I wanted to go that I wanted to look at, you can it that Chrome extension grabs all of the information about the job description, and then it uses AI to extract um, all of the responsibilities that they outline in the job descriptions and the qualifications, and then every keyword that the applicant tracking system uh, is looking for in resumes. And so it doesn't matter if I put ed tech instead of educational technology, application or applicant tracking systems tend to be very antiquated. And so they don't have the same kind of, at least yet, they don't have the same capability that like an AI system will have in the next 5 years of saying, oh yeah, ed tech and educational technology are the same thing, or platform design and systems architecture are similar enough that we should count that. So having the exact wording in your resume, even if you're saying the same stuff, you're not going to get your eyes and your resume in front of a human unless it aligns really well with these keywords. And so this is cool because it parses out all of those keywords. And then I can say it'll generate a custom resume for you based off of those keywords. And in Huntr, it has an AI tailor that goes through. It will help you rewrite your summary, your bullet points, and it will give you tip by tip, like point by point through um, through all of it. What skills should you be listing in it? Which projects, which job bullet points, and it'll customize that, but stay true to your original, um, like the data that you gave it. Sometimes it gets a little off, and so you always give it a final like once over, but it really did, I feel like, help by giving tailored and targeted stuff, and it actually ranks it. So I don't know what's wrong with their algorithm right now. I'm 104, 144%. That's not right, but um, that's the first time I've ever seen that happen though. Um, but it'll say, hey, you're doing a good job on qualifications, but your responsibilities, you're not talking about driving alignment across product teams or supporting teams. So go and write a bullet point that specifically mentions and uses these kind of words. And if you want help with it, you just click plus and it will help. Um, you can say, here, help me write a project about it or a bullet point or integrate it into the summary, into your summary. So it has different templates that you can like pick, and they're all optimized for applicant tracking, just depending on your industry. This is the one that I used because it was the simplest. Um, and and so that's kind of what I've been doing is I would go through LinkedIn, and it can work on any website that has it's pretty good at picking up jobs across different platforms, but I use primarily LinkedIn to find things. It works on Indeed and other job sites as well. Um, but I would add them to my board, and then I would sit down and I'd go through and create these tailored resumes. The other thing was writing cover letters. It has a really good cover letter writer. So if you pick which job you want to do, and then you can say just generate a cover letter. And not all the time. Sometimes I'd use ChatGPT or tweak it by hand, but to polish it and do a couple of different rounds of that. But it writes some pretty good cover letters really quickly. And so I usually would start with this as a basis and then tweak it just to make sure that my stuff was um, in line. And then a couple of the other AI tools that I really found good. It has follow-up emails. so that you can, if you don't have an inter or any sort of a response, you can send this like email and it just generates everything for you. So you can just send it up and say, hey, I just want to make sure that you got my resume. I'm a really good candidate or whatever. And it'll just generate that on on the spot. And then I used this in the job interview that I got. It based off the job descriptions, it will write interview prep questions for you and give you really good answers based off of your experience. And so, kind of like this, I think the STAR method of like a situation, task, action, and result. Um, anyway, it takes a minute, but it pops up. Hey, these are questions that they're likely to grill you on, and here are some really good talking points. So I had that, and then anyway, it's got a bunch of these type of things. So questions to ask, thank you, emails after the interview, all of these different tools, and it's just kind of integrated. So they charge 40 bucks a month. I've been paying for it for 7 months. Um, I landed a job that was a 30% pay raise from what I was making, which is a huge, payoff. I feel like it was well worth the money. Um, Wanted to show you, I found Huntr first, but this is another one that I would take a look at. This one has uh even more AI features. It's called JobRight, and I can have Steve like send out the links, jobright.ai. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, it might be something to consider. They have a thing called Turbo, and I think it actually just um, customizes your resume and even does the application process for you. So it can like pre-fill your application. Um, anyway, I think it's quite, these are really compelling tools. And if you're hand customizing resumes, I think you're going to lose a lot of speed. But then if you're not customizing your resume, I don't think that that's a viable option in this job market now, depending on the industry. But in all of my experience, I started seeing a massive increase in interviews once I was specifically targeting those ATS keywords that they pulled out. Um, the last one that I've got, and this one has a free tool, resume worded. Oh, this is another one, enhanced CV. This was the one that I used right out of grad school to get my job at WGU. It's a little bit older. I would probably recommend Huntr or the JobRight tool, but they have a free LinkedIn analysis that you can go through, and it'll give you a score and tell you ways to change it. Or they also have a resume grader, and they've been introducing AI into they were one of the very first AI resume companies, and so I really like them. They also have a couple of things that they give like ATS templates and things like that, and then they have really good metrics. I mean, if you sign up for it, they have a list of like, hey, these are different metric options that you can put into your thing. Yeah, this is one other that you can take a look at. Um, So that's kind of my job search. I went through three different rounds, like I was saying, of job interviews. I was positive that I was going to get a job on my first round. I've talked to the person who was making the hiring decision. I had a friend on the team who was trying to root for me and stuff like that. And um, when I talked to the person, I was the second candidate, and for like one or two small things, they decided to go with somebody else. And so I was feeling like I had it in the bag, and I was so excited, and I kind of let up on applying. Um, the second one, I was applying down for a role at ASU, and I was a finalist, and that's probably 4 weeks out from each of these different things. And for me, it's been an emotional roller coaster. Steve knows, I'm navigating a lot of personal stuff in the process. My wife and I are in the process of a separation and divorce, and it's really been a lot to try to carry at the same time. And then the job loss on top of it. And um, we're getting to a place now where there's a lot more stability, and I'm grateful for that. Um, but yeah, it's just been it's been a wild roller coaster. I've been so grateful for Steve's support, and anything I can do to be helpful to anybody, let me know. I'm ready for questions, I think, Steve.
Hey, I have one question before that. Tell everybody about something you're doing a project for families. I think everybody would love to hear that,
Oh
whether
yeah,
kids or whether they're grandparents or expecting parents in the future.
thanks. Yeah. So I during my my time off work, I've been trying to do start up a project. It's not launched yet, but I've been working on as a dad of two boys. I've been trying to figure out um, how to. I know there's a lot of great research and parenting books and things like that out there, but like any parent, I don't have like copious amounts of free time to sit down and read 200-page books about how to parent. And so I was thinking, how can I get the gist of them more effectively? And there's a lot of different like resume or a lot of different like book summary services and things like that. But I was designing an AI or I'm building an AI tool to take parenting books and kind of distill out the information from them. So their tips and tricks and like their principles. And then what research is backing all of those different things. And so you'd be able to see, oh, here's parenting with love and logic, or here's, the no drama discipline, and you can see the different tools that they offer, and also see how effective the evidence is for any of their practices that they recommend. And so combining that with a couple of other tools to just kind of make parenting life easier, a bedtime story generator that uses AI to help customize stories for your kids, or and with their favorite characters, so they could go on in with Paw Patrol or like whatever Harry Potter characters. And then one that I'm working on is a meal plan generator, so that it'll you can say, hey, these are my kids' um, needs, like their dietary restrictions or preferences and stuff like that. This is our whole family now. Figure out how to make food that everybody will eat, and give me a shopping list and make it easier. So the idea is just to take the burden off a little bit of parents, because I know that time's a premium. So that's something I'm calling it. I have the domain name familying.org. So we're spending time familying. But that's not launched yet, but it'll come out in the next couple months, hopefully.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. As is
Yeah.
tradition, I'm going to open it up for people and I'll throw different people on here. And this is random. You will not know who you are, but all of a sudden you'll see your face up here. First person to ask a question is Carl Bird.
Whoa.
Well, thank you for sharing. I find some things in common with you about the emotional roller coaster, about shock and being let go and things like that. I quite so as we were looking at the things you popped up there, is your new job with who's your new job with?
Yeah, it's actually with the same company, but
That's what I thought I saw.
a
Okay,
different
so
division. Yeah. So I'm taking a job. I was doing AI with their program development. So whenever they did the like launch a new degree program, I helped kind of organize that process and lead AI through that, use of AI in that. But then I'm now going to be like a technical program manager over their AI innovation group, and so it's technically a separate company, but it's owned by WGU as well.
sorry they didn't have
And
that offer for you right away, you know.
that would have been nice. Yeah, it's interesting. They've explained their benevolent policy of wanting to give everybody the opportunity to explore all of their options and not try to coerce them into taking a job that they don't really want. I kind of vehemently disagree with that, but they have their reasons for doing that, I suppose.
Well, thank you for those tools. I'm excited to look at a few of those. I think it could help my job search. I'm now on month number, I don't know, 5. So it's
It's a
time
lot.
to change up, right? So, side note, my wife worked for WGU in their nursing program, really liked it, but
Great.
eventually it was time for her to move on to something else. So, but I think it's a pretty good company. I'm glad you can stay with them. So
That's
thanks.
awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, it has been a good place to work. I like the mission, but it's yeah, the I think across all of the economy in general, but definitely in education, there's a lot of layoffs going on, and it's just a tough time. So I'm sorry that you've been in the job market that long, and it'll come through. I know that it's
Thank you.
tough though.
All right. Thanks, Carl. Next up, all dressed for an interview. Kevin.
Hey, David. Hey, thanks for
So,
sharing.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
find your story enlightening because it's hitting very home with me as well. I my departure from my role was similar to yours. Both my wife and I work at home, and just one day I got a meeting scheduled with my boss, and then the next thing I know is HR's in the meeting too, and elimination of role. And so shocker there, and then I can definitely empathize too with your situation. I just last week had 2 roles that were going down the road and had gone down quite a ways. And just like you, I had one where a previous coworker from my last job was there. He was rooting for me, said a lot of really good things. I had several really good interviews. I was brought into the role not by something that I had found, but by a recruiter who had found me. Met with them 3 or 4 times before I ended up having 3 or 4 interviews with the company, and then I got a call from their recruiter saying they were going to move on with somebody else, and I couldn't get any feedback on the reason why. Like when I asked for feedback, all I got was positive.
No one will give you feedback.
Yeah, all I got was positive feedback, right? Um, so yeah, I'm living that same roller coaster. For me, it's been 2 months, and I think one of the things that resonates with me too is what you talked about in the beginning. I've sort of excuse me, sort of following that same pattern where um, I jumped into a lot of things and started applying to a lot of things really quick. Then all of a sudden you start getting the resumes or the interviews coming in, and then things start going sideways, and then it's like, okay, I got to get back on the resumes because now I'm running out of all the stuff that I'd started. So you're kind of doing this. Yeah. The other thing I was going to ask you real quick is, did you say you taught at the U as a part of the professional program? What I
Yeah,
tell
no, I did. I never was an instructor. I helped launch their MBA online. So their
um,
online, it was the very first online degree at the U.
were you
Um,
working with Brad Varig?
yeah, he was my boss. Yeah, he and I
Yeah.
know each other really well.
So I just talked to Brad on Saturday. I know him really well. I went through the executive MBA program in 2004 to 2006. And so I was curious about that because I talked to him on Saturday and he wants me to come in next week and have a chat with him because he thinks there may be I've been doing some teaching and training along the way with a couple of consulting companies around negotiation and supply
Oh, that's
chain
cool.
and other things. And so he wants me to come in and see if there's a opportunity to pull in some of that as part of their professional
Oh, that'd be really
education
cool.
stuff. So,
That'd be really
but
cool. Yeah, Brad's
yeah,
great.
great guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's a great boss.
yeah,
He's led that department forever. He's really the heart and soul of any MBA at the U.
yeah. Well, and it's been, like I said, it was 2006 that I graduated, and I sent him a note the other day, and he was back to me, and like, it was a long time ago, and every class has got 60, 70 people that go through there, and
Oh
how he
yeah.
can still remember everybody, but blows me away. But yeah, well, anyway,
Thank
congratulations.
you so much and best of luck with your search.
Thanks.
Okay. Next is Mike.
Let's go, Mike.
Hey, yeah, thanks for your story, David. Just really quick with those like AI tools that follow up after resume letter thing.
Hmm.
Um, just kind of a, I don't know, rough estimate. Do you know how long on average it would take between when you applied and when or if you would hear back to start the whole interview process?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you're going to get an interview, it's probably going to be within a week. That's been my experience, but it's not. Every company is a little bit different, and I think education is a little weird because like the bureaucracy in most universities is so slow, and so there are places, but usually if people see a resume that they're like, if you're if you're just stuck in the ATS because you don't have the right keywords or something like that, you're never going to get an interview. But like if you get in front of a human, or if you, I had a lot of friends that I'd like send their resume to, and they would go and like sit on the recruiter's desk and say like, read this resume and hire this person, and um, if you can make sure that you get in front of an interview, you'll hear back pretty quick because they don't want to let the right candidate go away. And so if they'll screen you one way or the other, yeah, 1 to 2 weeks I think is max. And then I'd start just moving them on over to the rejected pile. And then it's just a matter of waiting for the form letter to come back. Like, thank you for applying. We have so many great candidates that we can't tell you, why.
You're a great candidate for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, exactly. You're the perfect candidate for yeah, exactly. It's not you, it's us. Um,
Oh, that's good. Thanks.
yeah, thanks.
All right. Next up is Don Guyman.
Well, just say congratulations.
Thanks.
Love seeing the tools that you're utilizing, and it's good going. Congrats. And I'm glad you said you're going back to Western Governors. I was getting confused. I'm like, you got. I did that once before, so hopefully, I rebounded, boomerang back to a place I got laid off. But that's the luck, and
Thanks.
thanks for sharing your story.
Appreciate that. It's been interesting. I'm doing um, the public service loan forgiveness program. So I did, a bunch of student loans to get through, and then the government does, if you do 10 years of at a nonprofit or at a government, sort of thing, they'll forgive the loans. And so it's really been an interesting thing because it's narrowed down the field. Like I have a specialty and then I have this other thing tacked on. And I'm down to my last 2 years. I need to get 2 more years at a nonprofit, and then I can go. The golden handcuffs are off, so to speak, of going private or to somewhere else. And I love this education space, and I love the nonprofit sector. I'd love to keep working there, but it's been an interesting thing because there's been an added. It's kept me from applying to just normal corporate jobs because the financial incentive is to stay in the nonprofit sector. And so then it gets into a weird thing. I've also noticed though that like a lot of jobs have opened up in the first quarter of this last year because I think just fiscally, like the fiscal year starts in, is it June, I think, or ends in June. And so like people were doing their budgeting for the year, and now I feel like it's opening up and there's kind of like more positions becoming available. I know that the holidays get crazy. Of not that people slow down in hiring necessarily, but it just gets complicated because of the vacation time and things like that. But I think that people are going to be scrambling, and if you can go and get in quickly, I think that they'll try and fill positions before the holidays, or they're going to put, they're going to want to fill the positions as soon as the holidays are over. So I think that you guys are in a pretty good, like we're in a pretty good time of year to be searching for those jobs.
My last role was that I was going through the holidays, hope I get. But I knew they targeted to have me hired on January 2nd, so
Hmm.
their my wanting to rush it was just basically I think in line with what they wanted to do. So, but
Hmm.
so once again,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Don.
Congratulations.
Best of luck. It's been interesting to me. I haven't done a victory lap when I got the job. Honestly, it was just kind of like getting to the end of a marathon and crossing the line and just going like, okay, like it's just a minute. It's been weird because I felt like I started off and it was like a sprint for me, and it was like I'm gonna get like 50 job applications done this week with this AI tool. Boom, 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 boom. Just and now I'm it's like a pacing thing.
Dan,
Yes, congratulations.
Thanks.
Thanks for all your tips. I like what Huntr. Thank you for showing us that.
Yeah.
The keywords, like even redundant keywords, like did you have a lot of redundant keywords or just a few?
Yeah, that's a good question. Depending on how they write the job description, as long as you get like a couple, like you want to match a good amount, and Huntr has a good like gauge on like it'll grade your resume. It'll give you a number up at the top, like you got 67, percent of, score on your resume. I try to get it above 70. If you can get above 70, 80, you're in good shape. But the way I do the redundant keywords is by working them into the bullet points. So I have one keyword in the summary, written one way, and then I have it in a bullet point and it's another way. And so it's not just like all in this. If you do it all in the skill section, it looks ridiculous. Like, programming, software development, software engineering, yeah, I don't like doing that. By the end, I sometimes I would take what Huntr put out. I'd download the PDF and toss it into ChatGPT, and then I'd say, polish this like you're doing it for a really good, like you're a very good, you know, recruiter. You're an experienced recruiter. Write the exact resume that you want to see, but write it with my details, and stay true to my actual experience. Don't make up any crazy stuff. Um, and so that can help kind of consolidate, and then I'll pull it back into Huntr and see how it scores. So that's a little bit more hands-on, but for the right position, I did it that way.
Okay, that's helpful. So yeah, like I notice sometimes AI will hallucinate or exaggerate things. So like like with your cover letters, do you have to make it sound more human or is it getting better or
Actually, yeah, so that's a great question. Huntr was the best tool that I've seen for it. Does it have to be, but yeah, yeah, I did go through and like just it sounds human to me, and actually it sounds like as good as I could write. Like I feel like it's getting to the point where they've got it pretty dialed in with the Huntr tool. With when I had ChatGPT do it, yeah, it needs to be like coached quite a bit, prompted the right way. Um, but one thing to always make sure that this is like a super geeky tip, but recruiters already know this. And anytime you use AI, especially ChatGPT, and not as I haven't seen as much with Claude, but they put this weird character. It's called an M dash. It's like a hyphen, like a long hyphen. They'll add that weirdly in to all of the text. And that is a dead giveaway that it was written by AI. And so it's a fast way that recruiters can like look at it and say, this is an AI resume and just toss it out. So always scan your resume for like these M dashes, and it just goes, and you can do find and replace and just remove them or put in a semicolon or a comma or whatever. And you're totally fine and you pass the smell test. But um, that's like a super nitpicky thing. But yeah, check for that in the cover letter. But other than that, I actually really like the Huntr cover letters. I used many of them. I would put a cover letter from Huntr as soon as I read it through in verbatim um, on my second tier jobs. On my top tier jobs, I would take that letter, I'd put in a ChatGPT, I would be like working it for 15 minutes, back and forth doing edits and hand typing stuff. And um, but yeah, that is for my there'd be like every round I'd have like two or three jobs that are like these are the go all in, give my top effort, my very best effort, invest hours to, craft the right, job description and try to call my network and try and get on that resume or on that recruiter's desk. And then there'd be a lot of jobs where it's just like I'm filling the pipeline. I'm gonna try this. I'll do like my quick effort on it. And I just throw in the Huntr resume or the Huntr resume and the Huntr cover letter. That was a good way to fill the pipeline.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Hey, David, what's that hyphen thing? Can you show us?
Yeah, let me show you. I can show you. It's called an M dash, and that's like I don't know, it's a grammar term, I guess. But let me actually pop open ChatGPT.
And I did see in the comments that you can ask it to be removed, or I think Mike and Don, because I see it on all the stuff that I use, and I go like, is a comma take its place good?
Okay, can you see my ChatGPT here?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thank you letter to Steve. All right, so I'm gonna write a thank you letter to Steve. Um, don't worry, I'll actually write you one. I'll send you a handwritten card like you've been teaching me.
Well, if I deserve it, and I'll just put this out there, I'll take a letter recommendation on LinkedIn if I deserve it. Now that's
That's
a
perfect.
risk. That's a risky thing for me to ask.
Mm, That's right. Okay, so look at this. I want to say genuine thank you you've helped me in the job search. Your time and advice make a real difference. Boom, that's it right there. That is a
Okay.
dead giveaway that this was authored by AI. You'll see it down here too. Boom. I can return if I can return the favor, be a sounding board. Boom. Immediately any resume and it's a special character. You can it's not a hyphen, but if you put a hyphen and then a space in Microsoft Word, it will type that in. It's just weird for humans to do it like that. Most it's grammatical, it's fine to do, and I actually think it makes it like reading it a lot easier. But anybody that sees those characters will know that it's written by AI. So
Okay.
always remove that if you can. And yeah, I like the custom instructions. I've tried doing that. ChatGPT still seems to do it, but I need to tweak that a little more. I haven't spent much time on that.
All right. Next is Tommy.
Um, Whenever you've sent a resume and you've gotten a rejection letter and you really like the job, have you found that if you tweak it and resend it, you get better results?
Oh, that's a good question. I've not tried resending resumes if I get a rejection. Yeah, that's a good that's probably good practice to do. Uh, most of the jobs that I've been applying for, you have to apply with like an account. Like you have to like create an account in like Workday or whatever. And so it's like it'll track you and it'll be like, and it's blocked me from doing that. But if you have a way to do that, I don't think it's a bad idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a. I've also wondered there are some companies that use there's an eight applicant tracking system. It's pretty nice. I like applying through it called Greenhouse. You'll see it. It's like a one page form for it. But um they'll keep track of like your resume. And I'm not sure on some applicant tracking systems, it seems like once you submit a resume, that's the resume for you in all jobs, regardless of what position you're applying for. And I think Greenhouse does that. And it bugs me because I'm like putting a lot of effort into applying to specific positions and
Right.
really tailoring, um, you know, and it kind of glosses over that, which I don't think it's helpful for the hey, my cat's going crazy. Um, she's figured out how to open the drawer and like climb into a cupboard, and then goes and makes a mess. And so, sorry about that. Yeah, I think that the applicant tracking systems can sometimes like make it unnecessary to customize your resume because you can only put one resume into their system for some reason. That's not true with Workday. Workday is usually good to put multiple resumes in. Um, Greenhouse, I think it might gloss over. I think they keep unique cover letters, but I think that they use this, they at least by default use the same resume. There's a couple of other ones. Anybody that uses an in-house applicant tracking system, it's kind of that way. The University of Utah has a terrible ATS. It's all in-house, and I think it was made in the late 90s.
Why?
So
Okay,
great question.
thanks, Tommy. Next up is Jason Green. Speaking of cats, he has a cat usually walking in front.
Hi, Jason.
How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you
And
too.
congratulations.
Appreciate that.
I didn't have any particular questions until I thought about or understood that you were coming back to the same place that laid you off.
Yeah.
Any trepidation about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's been a thing where it's when I got laid off, I was like, these good for nothings, they laid me off, like I gave them 5 years and my best work and they deserve what's coming to it, like I'm never gonna look at them again. And I've had to just swallow my pride, like I've done that as a way of, for me, it's now before it was very much I'm giving them like my heart and my very best work. And I feel like the team that I'm joining, I feel like as I've connected with the recruiter and the managers and things like that, I feel like this is a really good team. So I think I'll be able to give that same level of like passion and hard work. But also I'm putting in some boundaries about, this isn't the defining part of my life. Like this is one part among many, my family, my boys, and these other parts are going to be really important. And there'll be some pretty strict boundaries around that. Personally, for me, I'm looking at a 2-year time horizon, and I don't think that they're going to hire somebody, train them, and fire them in 2 years. And so I'm just kind of stacking my odds of that happening, because they're going to be investing a little bit in getting me certified as a program manager with PMI and things like that. I think that I need 2 years out of them, and then if they fire me, or if they lay me off, it's not going to be as big of a deal. But um, so I've had to weigh those risks, in a real way. But yeah, it's been an emotional, like trying to come. I really think like the main thing with this whole thing has been an emotional training ground and roller coaster. I'm, for a lot of different reasons, talking with my counselor, to have a counselor talk with him, obvious. And Steve has been a great therapist.
Yeah, yes.
Steve Bowder is a really good therapist too. But one of the things that my counselor talks about, it's a principle of Stoicism, which is ambivalence. So both holding both sides and trying to remain ambivalent to different situations, which is really tricky. And as I've been going through these personal changes and these professional ups and downs, um, trying to say, you know what, I'd prefer this, but I'm not going to be devastated. If this
Right.
cool job comes up, that's great. And if it doesn't come up, that's great. And that's a whole hard thing to come through. But I think that the biggest learning for me has been that principle of ambivalence. And even when I got the job offered, I wasn't like dancing. I was just like, okay, like this is the offer, and that's great. And I prefer having an offer to not having an offer. And if I didn't have an offer, I would be okay too. And I don't know, it's a weird kind of thing to practice, but it's one of the few times in life I think that I'll have this chance to practice ambivalence at this level, and I've been finding it helpful. I don't know.
Are you going to run into people from the old group, the way you work
Yeah,
in the new
absolutely. I
group?
think I think I will be seeing my direct supervisor again it's now we're all on site. I'm sure that I will see him, and I'd worked for him, given him my best for 5 years, and he called me up and read the script in 30 seconds. And then with me, I was on the screen, it was HR on the screen with my direct supervisor, who I had been hired months before he had, and had really helped him like get some major wins.
Right.
And he just popped up, read the script, and then hung up. HR talked to me for a couple minutes and hung up. And then immediately my laptop locked up. I was in the middle of projects. I had data on on the computer and stuff like that. And it just went to, you are gone. And the day before, my boss had been telling me, you have deadlines in December. Like, we need to hit this is a high priority project for the department. And the order came down from on high and just said, lay these people off by the end of the day. And that was it. And so do I have reservations about the institution? Yeah. I don't like institutions that treat their people this way. And
Well,
I'm
no, this is their benevolent behavior. That's,
exactly
I mean,
it's their
that's
time.
just, yeah, we're giving you the opportunity to expand your horizons. That's
Yeah.
nice of them.
Yeah, that's
Real
really good. Yeah,
nice.
exactly. Yeah. And I feel, yeah, it's not how I'd want to lead a company if I ever started one, but
Right.
it's their the way that they chose to behave, and it's tough. I also think, like, that boss, I went through a period of actually really hating him, um, thinking like, you know what, you should have fought for me, you should have, like, whatever. And coming to, as I've reflected on it again and again, like, he was in a tough spot too. I don't think he had any choice. I think he was told, you're firing this person today, and you need to do that. And I can I can rail at the leadership that decided to make those decisions, but the people that are actually carrying out the firings and stuff like that, I don't think that they have any. In my case, I don't think that they had any say. I don't think
Real
my
choices. Yeah.
yeah, which is
And
really tough. Like, that sucks. It would have been an emotional thing for him, I'm sure.
yeah, like I say, try to see it from their, or think about doing it in their shoes. It sounds
But
brutal
but to be fair, like, it took me months and months and months of, like,
to
processing to
read
be able
that
to get
thought.
to a place where I
Yeah.
could, like, be okay with that too. I don't know. Um, it's weird in English, like, you look at people's last names, a lot of them are, we're so tied in to what we do for a living. Like, even, Smith, or um,
Cooper.
Baker, Cooper, all of those things, like, are what we do is tied in with our identity. And it's been interesting, and I think, honestly, a lot really healing for me personally, to have a minute. I don't know, like, I don't know where people sit, and I'm not trying to get spiritual on anybody, but, like, I don't have a huge amount of spiritual belief in my life, but I look back and I'm grateful in a way now, that when all of these personal changes were going on in my life, that I didn't have a job, because it would have been hell to try to go through
Oh, right.
all of that on top of trying to get to work every day. Like, it's been, looking back, I can see that there have been benefits to having this period of less stress in my life. And it's given me a chance to feel like I've gotten stripped down from my identity to naked David, where it's just, that's an image nobody needs, to David at his core, um, to David without any other things that I can, like, cover myself up with, and say, like, who am I, and do I have any value, or is it just that I can make a certain amount of money, or that I have a job that gives me prestige, or that I have, that my family looks a certain way, or is it's been a really interesting time of growth. And I'm definitely in the growing, like, the learning curve still with that, but it's been neat to get to a point where I've had to just kind of go down and accept for myself, like, you know what? Even if I don't have a job, I'm still
I'm
a,
still here.
I'm still
I'm
here,
someone.
and I'm worthy of respect and love, and, like, I can still like myself even if I'm unemployed. I can still think that I'm a decent person, without, even though I'm not contributing to the economy, to GDP. uh, I'm still worth being around, and that's been a neat thing to experience because I hadn't experienced that before. But I am grateful for those kind of lessons. So,
Well, congratulations again. I
thank
hope they
you.
treat you better the second time. And
Thank you.
yeah, let's see you.
I appreciate it.
All right. Next up is Arian, and we've got about 6 more people. We'll go as quick as possible. If not, we will quit. We will stop at 10.
Hey David, thanks for your time
Hey, Aaron.
and congrats.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I appreciate what you said about like how they usually interview you like really shortly after you apply. Yeah, that's definitely been true in my experience. Like I don't think I've gotten an interview more than like 2 weeks after I
Yeah.
applied.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of a time horizon I'd look at.
hmm Um, but yeah, I didn't have any other specific questions or anything. So yeah,
Appreciate it.
thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Next up is Rick.
Hey, so with your AI stuff, what was, do you have a recommendation on lesson plans or where to get started? So we used, and when I was with Ancestry, we had AI tools, but they were all behind the firewall, and so we had very specific ways of using them. And
Mhm.
so and it's evolving so fast. And actually, in the past month, so many things have happened with uh, code coming out with their multiple agent uh,
Yeah.
working in sandboxes. What do you have uh, some AI courses that you could recommend that I could get started on?
Yeah. Um, so what level of technical, like what did you do at Ancestry? Are you like a software engineer or are
Yeah,
you okay?
I was a senior software engineer, and I did Java and TypeScript.
Okay, awesome. So there's a website for this is for a technical like position. If you
Mhm.
want to be on the cutting edge of AI, and even just they have intro courses as well, but like deeplearning.ai is the best resource right now for technical expertise. I would say like across the board. They are they have free and their courses are largely free. I don't think they have paid courses actually.
Okay.
And so I'd highly recommend them. Um, LinkedIn Learning, they've got basic that's kind of
Yeah.
like more how to do prompt engineering and things like that. But if you want like technical, how to build a graph-based RAG system that you can, like they get very technical on things,
Okay,
or
cool.
how to use Java, and they filter by language and different applications and things like that. I'd highly recommend them.
Okay, cool. Um, I had another question, but it's left me. And so, oh, um, so given my background with Java and TypeScript, I was thinking of expanding my horizons and going into iOS.
Hmm.
Uh, how hard, how steep of a learning curve is that?
Well, so Swift is designed to be pretty easy to pick up, and uh, if you were to do Swift, I would highly recommend doing a LinkedIn Learning course. That's a pretty fast way to they have that. Um, if it just depends on where you want to go. If you're going for mobile, like if you want to become a mobile engineer, that's a great option. If you want to do like um, if you're wanting to get into AI, I would recommend Python over learning Swift. I wouldn't practice on Objective-C because everything is moving to Swift. Um,
Okay.
but because you already know Java, those concepts are very similar. Like it's it's going to be you're going to be picking up syntax. You're not going to be learning what a for loop is, or
Oh.
like like a variable. Your architecture is going to be the same. It's going to be a matter of learning where to put the commas and where to put the semicolons. And so, yeah, LinkedIn Learning would be a good spot for iOS development. And also just Apple has a lot of courses. You can look at Apple's, like they have iOS Playground, and and I know that their developer toolkit, you've got Xcode and things like that. So they've got a lot of tutorials.
Yeah, I'm on a M2 Mac.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Then if you just download Xcode and you can access like the Apple developer program has a lot of information on how to do it as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Of course. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. One last question. So either Brett, Brad, Tammy, or Chase. One last question. I was calling pretty much on everybody who I had their cameras up first. But any of those people, questions?
Well, this is almost more of a rhetorical question, but we know like all the loops we have to go through to get through the ATS with all this AI stuff. How is it that it seems like everybody else knows how to get through this? Like, why are we struggling with it? But it seems like, other people are getting hired and yeah, like I don't expect an answer from this. It's more of just a rhetorical question, but how is it that other people are nailing this and we're just kind of struggling with it? So again, I'm not looking for an answer, but
Yeah, that's a good
it's almost more of a complaint than a question. So I apologize for that.
a good question. I'll tell you that at least for me, it could be with other people. I think there's a lot of luck going on, but like I think that legitimately there is some luck in putting the right keywords in automatically. Maybe everybody else is using AI to like customize their resumes, tailor it perfectly, and like present a perfect case. But for us, it took me a little bit to get the learning curve of, oh yeah, I need to add, be filling the pipeline constantly and do it this way. And once I started using the AI tools, I did see a big increase in the number of interviews that I was landing compared to like my ratio went up. And so I don't know if that's helpful, but it at least gave me something structured that I could focus on, and then I could improve it, and I could I could like actually track like if I was improving or not, and that was helpful. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah, thank you.
David, thank you. Sorry, we went a few minutes over. I appreciate you coming today. I'm excited to hear more about this and your venture. So hopefully we'll stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you for coming today and giving of yourself.
Thanks,
And real
everybody.
quickly, let me just quickly take it out of here and see the gallery. Everybody, please give David a big round of applause for coming today.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you much.
Best of luck.
Everybody else stay on.